Chaz, we're ready.
Thank you, sir.
It's like ready to take off.
Good evening and welcome to the Townsend Housing Authority. Today's Thursday, September 12th, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Courtney Crowley.
Natalie Call.
Laura Schifrin.
Chaz Sexton-Duranian. The meeting is being recorded. Tonight we're going live, and then we will be recorded, and it will be shown on YouTube with the town channel. Would you all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank all our men and women in service, both past and present. Thank you very much for your service. Chairman's additions, deletions to agenda unforeseen prior to 48 hours of this meeting. At this point, I do not have anything. Does anybody else have any meeting? 1.6 is Vice Chair report. Lori?
There was an MRPC meeting last Thursday, which I attended, and there were status updates for all the towns and what the projects were. And there are quite a few that the NRPC is working on. And none of them said complete, that I remember. Some of them are supposed to be completed by the end of September, and then they had October and November and December dates. Other than that, I don't know much else. I know that Lindsay was in touch with, John had somebody call from MRPC about something that she was missing, and they're looking into getting the information that's needed. It's about one of the grants, and if I could get into, I can get in.
There you go.
I would like to, if you bear with me for
Absolutely.
just a minute. I'll see if I can pull that up. So I'm going to let you know the up-to-the-minute things that NRPC is doing for Townsend. And one of them is Townsend's Miko and John Aho Nature Walk and Park Mapping. We are working on finalizing a trail map of the Townsend Conservation Land Trust Miko and John Aho Nature Walk and Park. We sent the map out for review, and TCLT did not like how some of the Mass GIS, this open space data, appeared off. TCLT, and I think that's Townsend
Land.
Conservation Land Trust? Is that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. Has less than an hour left for this project, so we sent an estimate for the cost to complete this additional work. TCLT is having a board meeting on August 20th. And it is, let me see, this was our first, I guess there was not an updated one because our first meeting was last Thursday, first Thursday of the month. So they had not received any update, and is planning on discussing the work and if they want to move forward with it. If they want to move forward, we will update the property boundaries according to their survey. Otherwise, we will finalize the map and send it over. We will also provide the TCLT with the GPS data in the 3 data formats that they requested. The project is expected to be completed by the end of September. The next one is Townsend Recreational Marijuana Overlay Zoning District Map.
Yeah.
We created a map of Townsend showing the new recreational marijuana overlay zoning district as well as the districts that comprise it. We sent it out for review and are currently waiting for a response. This project is expected to be completed in September. Is that what we saw?
Planning board.
Okay.
I just gave them a copy to peek at.
Okay, so, they're just waiting for which department's approval?
It would have to be the planning board, I would assume.
Okay, so we do meet one more time, planning does meet one more time in September, so I'll make sure to, read these updates. If I didn't get mine to work for planning on Monday, but I'll make sure that these are read. And now that this is being taped, others can hear an update of what MRPC is doing for us.
Did they do a DLTA update?
MRPC staff continue to work on the following project. Townsend, assist to provide the municipality with regional data to update the town's housing production plan and master plan.
Yeah.
So they're still working on that. I don't believe that we, for the housing production plan, or, and didn't hear anything, or planning didn't hear anything from master plan regarding an update.
I haven't heard anything from master plan for an update, but I will update on the MRPC. I have it in here on that I will talk about.
Okay.
I did get a email from John. He wants to set up a time too, because we.
John Hume?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Townsend's involved in a few of their things. I think we were very fortunate this year. Ashby, Townsend, and Pepperell Regional Dispatch Feasibility Study.
Correct.
There's no comment, but that they're working on the project. And I'm going to transit. I don't think there's anything on the DLTA. Well, let me look at what Lindsay had. Because there was something she was waiting for, and it turns out that it's not MRPC that's doing it anymore. So I'm wondering if that's the DLTA. And there was one part that MRPC is supposed to give to this other, and I think it's in this. I wanna tell
So
you
the
about it.
DLTA grant was set for the master plan committee for the housing chapter and for helping the housing authority with our housing production plan.
Okay, I think that's already reported on.
That's, yeah.
Okay, so John Devine, this has Glenn to subject Townsend. Please find attached some documents that you requested for fiscal year 18 Townsend CDBG program.
That's the block program.
Okay, so Glenn, attached are Word docs that Community Opportunities Group asked for. 1, citizen participation plan. 2, anti-speculation and recapture plan. and 3 anti-displacement and relocation plan. Okay, and this is what Lindsay was asking about, because it's Wayne T. Derrick, president of Community Opportunities Group, Inc., that is the one that's preparing whatever document for Townsend. And it appears that he has everything but one piece.
Okay.
So that
should be pretty
coming
much
along.
done, yeah.
Unfortunately, it lacks what I need most, the information relating to the community development strategy. And that is what John is working on getting to Wayne.
Gotcha, okay.
And, Mr. Chairman, that's my report.
Thank you very much. I think we're very fortunate to be able to work. They're doing a lot of work for us this year, which I think is really good, for the town, I should say, not us.
Well, I was thinking about that coming in. The town pays like a membership fee each year to MRPC. And planning is part of that. For many years, it was just like nothing was happening. People were not going to the meetings. But now, since we've had, some involvement, we make sure we get our applications in for the grants, because obviously that whatever it is, between $3,000 and $4,000 that we pay in the budget each year, we get more than that back from them, because they give us data that's collected for other communities as well, because we share, and then we have the opportunity to submit for the other grants. And it looks like, our town is involved in 3 or 4 or 5 other things from them this year, so,
there's a lot of like extemporaneous stuff, like if we need information, I know I've called them on the fly, and the information is right there because they have it all in their database too. So I think it's a valuable partnership that we have. And I also feel that they've been very good about pointing us in the right direction too when we don't know where to go. So I agree. And I like the report. As much information as we can share to the community, I think is equally as important.
I'm gonna try to have that so that we have it once a month. And I can actually read what the status reports are that they're giving us.
I think that's very important.
And that's something I haven't done in the past.
Yeah.
So.
Good. Okay, 1.7 State Representative Report. I only have a couple of items this week. Item number 1 is that I have been asked to attend the Massachusetts Selectmen's Association is going to be discussing housing choice and housing opportunities in Massachusetts. As part of the Selectmen's Association, they have several different workshops and/or seminars throughout the year. I have been asked by our liaison if I would be interested in going to this. I said yes, and she has submitted, and I'll be going on Saturday, September 21st. That's at Lakeville Police Station. It's going to be from 8:30 in the morning until whenever.
Where's Lakeville?
Middleborough, exit 495.
It's way down, Blackstone, Millville area.
Further.
Almost down,
I used to live down there.
Yeah,
so.
almost down to Rhode Island.
Not that quite.
But they're going to be talking. They're having a panel, and Chris Kluckman. I had talked to her several times when we were looking at some ways, and when we were going down the veterans path. Remember, I had a report from Chris. I've talked to her on several occasions. It's going to be nice to meet her. She's the Housing Choice Program Director. The Housing Choice Program is something that we definitely want the town to get in on, which puts us at a level where we are pre-qualified for certain grants, as opposed to having to go through the grant from square one. It puts us on a priority list. And Chris, I actually did a quick report for the selectmen earlier in the year to see if we were eligible for the Housing Choice Program. There's a couple of items that we need to kind of get up to speed, so to speak. So hopefully next year we'll be able to have the right data to be able, one of them was we had to have an active master plan. We don't have an active, technically, you know what I mean? So that was one piece that we definitely need for that. But anyway, she's gonna be there. There's a, town of Easton is gonna be talking about what they did for increasing their housing production. And the senior legislative analyst, which I don't know if she's I don't exactly know. It's a legislative update, which is probably just going to talk about, you know, what their association does and all of that kind of stuff. But Chris was the one that I definitely wanted to meet. I had met her also in Boston at one of my state reps. I didn't meet her. She spoke, and I really think that, you know, I want to make sure that Townsend kind of gets in on the radar for that kind of stuff, because there are other opportunities that pop up, and if she sees, oh, this would fit for a town of our size, then she can give us a call and give us a heads up on stuff. So I'm definitely going to go to that. The second thing I wanted to talk about was that I can talk about any other. I had received
Ooh.
goodness.
Power.
There we go.
Are we still recording?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. We weren't moving enough.
That's what it was.
I received a letter from Community Outreach and Senior Advocate for a company called caring.com, and she wanted to talk about someone including their senior care and assisted living guide, and they wanted to put it on our website. I wanted to throw that out to the board to see if it's something that you know, we would be interested in, or the company is, or the website for them is called caring.com. And I guess it's your thoughts and opinions on that. We can put it on another agenda if you want to go forward with it, or if you want me just to send a request. My personal opinion on this is it's I personally don't think us advertising for another company on the housing page is something that I would want to get into. What I thought.
I don't think so, because there's a lot of places that do that, and if we have them, it'll be like
Preferential.
Yeah.
and that means we've had a relationship with them, and we would have to be like behind them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is a liability to us to go out on a limb, so to
To
speak.
do that. Well, my thought was this, and if you guys have input, just let me know. My thought on this was that we do have a kind of like a standardized letter that we send out thanking whoever has asked for whatever information it is. And in that we have a data sheet which has state information for the affordable housing. It has numbers for like Coppersmith, numbers for people that are doing that. It has numbers for Atwood Acres and Townsend Woods. So I'm thinking if we were going to do anything, we could add it to that data sheet. When people request information, we send it out, because it has all the information on it as opposed to specifically one company.
Right. Agreed.
You agree with that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So when we get to that, then I'll go ahead and add that to there, because I didn't think it was something that we really wanted to get into.
And we don't have a resources page on our website or anything like
Not
that.
as of yet, no.
Okay.
If we did have that,
Then that's
Mhm.
where-
and that's something that is definitely a future discussion for us. And when we get to Jody, I'll tell you a little more about what her and I talked about as well. And the next, I already did the Housing Trust Fund, no, that's gonna be on a different agenda item, so I can talk about that a bit later. And I think that's really all. No, there is one more piece. I also have it on the agenda, but I just want to throw this out now. We do have the ability to talk to town council for anything that we need to, and there are scheduled times that we need to do that. And when that happens, now that we have administrative help, we need to make a decision here, and then we can move forward to it. If there is anything that you feel that we want to initiate some kind of conversation with town council, if you guys bring it up at the meeting, we'll make a decision on how to do that. But the procedure will be, we have to decide on that we want to bring it in front of town council, and then one of us needs to bring it to the proper person here to get on the schedule for that. It is once a month, if I remember correctly, right, for that?
Yeah, they just sent out a notice today that it's September 25th for this month, because it's a switch. There had been a scheduling conflict, and they said it was September 25th. But when you say that, I just want to say and bring it up that we have an article that was approved by town council that was supposed to come before the annual town meeting and was inadvertently left off. So I would like to just make sure that our admin now knows that that cannot happen again. And hopefully that will be at the fall meeting.
Yeah.
And that's only, that article is only the beginning. It's only step one of at least getting the ball rolling, of having that parcel extrapolated and given to the Board of Selectmen so that we can then make recommendations regarding its use.
Yes, and I'll make more comments on that when we get to 3.2 on the feasibility study. So,
Oh.
no, but you're right, you're absolutely right. The last thing I wanted to talk about, as far as we all had, I informed you guys of what the governor has been putting a lot of his staff members, his administration, to look for increasing housing in Massachusetts. That is continuing, and that's actually gaining a lot of impetus, for a lot of towns in the area. With a lot of the meetings that I have been going to, I just wanted to throw it out to you guys, is that they're really looking for out-of-the-box thinking when it comes to increasing housing. And it's something that when we get to our discussion in regards to the Dudley Road project, I think that's a perfect area for us to be able to do that. There are many more resources available to us than there were in the past because of what the governor is doing. And it would be resources in regards to zoning for particular towns. He said that, or the information is out there that we should be able to, if we're looking for density bonuses and all of that kind of stuff, that we are, that there's ways in which we can help approach that for the planning purposes. And then when we get to a point where if we do have to look for certain permits or anything like that, that the state will help us out with that. Not only with money, but with help. They'll come in and help us be able to do that. So having said that, any information that any of you guys have seen on the outside, please bring it into the meeting so we can discuss it. Even if you feel that it might not pertain to us, if it has anything to do with housing at all, definitely bring it in and we'll discuss it. Because the governor is saying that, the more creative your ideas and the way in which we can increase housing, let's talk about it, let's see what we can do, and I kind of agree with that as well. You and I have talked about how drastically behind we are with housing production, in not only in our community but in the state as well. And we're going to be in a situation. Yeah, we're going to be in a situation further on down the road. And outside of that, that's all I have for that. So, in 2.1, I would like to formally welcome Courtney to the Townsend Housing Authority. She has officially been sworn in, and she is ours now. Thank you very much. I appreciate your service. I appreciate you going through, since January you've been here and helping us out. So now it's formal.
Now, unlike the general member position, so unlike, is that an elected position?
This?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means.
She would be filling the term of,
Kevin, right?
yes, Kevin's term. So she will be,
No, she has to run in April.
Yep.
she gets appointed and runs in April for,
See, right now it only says 2020 because, I think that she'll be 23. In April,
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll stay with us. You would take out papers and it will be for a term that ends 2023.
Mhm.
Because if you look at
Yeah.
your heading,
I put it in there as 2020.
because of
Because
the
of the
election. It's
election.
only an appointment at this point. But then we have that's the 2020 vacancy, and then the next one is me in 21. Nat, you're 22, Natalie is 24, so she would be 23 in this coming April.
Right. So we'll help you out with
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if it's a write-in, it would be easier, whatever
Yes.
you want to
Mhm.
do, I mean, we can
Yeah.
help you out
Yeah.
with it.
Oh, yeah, it's easy.
We'll be behind you, my dear.
Oh, yeah, we'll
Okay.
drag you everywhere.
2.2, formal welcome to Jody. Yay, Jody.
Yay.
Jody comes
Very
with us
excited.
with a lot of experience. Her and I had a wonderful discussion on Tuesday. She is going to be helping us. The way in which it's set up, from the budget, it's 5 hours per week. And with the 5 hours a week, she's going to be really kind of spearheading a lot of new avenues that we're delving down. So I welcome you. I know I personally am very glad to get a couple of things off of my plate. But we talked about the mystery file cabinet. We have, there's the hard drive for our old land use coordinator that had housing information, she has access to it. We were looking at it on Tuesday. There was a lot of information, not a lot, but there was some information in regards to the housing production plan the last time we did that. So I thought that I wanted to bring it up to the board to find out, we have like 5 or 6 documents on there for it. There was an old flyer and.
I didn't go through all the files, because I think Karen had another folder I'd have to wade through and see what she had. And a couple of were duplicates, so she must have posted them.
Yeah.
So there's like Word and PDF and stuff.
Yeah. So my thought is we're probably going to have to schedule a meeting just to deal with the housing production plan stuff. It doesn't have to be a full board, but it does have to be a quorum if we're going to do any votes on it. But just to nail that down. So we'll get to that when we get to that. But we talked about that. We talked about, I kind of glazed over a lot of the other activities that we're involved in. We talked about anything to do with the administrative portion of it. There's a lot with the website. There's also, we've got to get the letterhead set up. We need to get what our standardized letters are going to be for letters of reply from internet, letters of reply to anything that's mailed into us. We talked in regards to when we're getting applications for housing, how we handle that, and making sure that the people get their information back as opposed to shredding it, because there's a lot of personal information on that they're going to be submitting, or that they sometimes submit. But having said that, I think that we're off to a good start. You know, as far as we need the help. I know that you have some stuff for the housing, the forum that's coming up.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk a little further. There's a piece for you in regards to what you have been talking about. So whatever we need administratively, I think the line of communication, if you send it all into Jody, and then her and I, she can communicate back and forth with me, and we can sift through there. But if there's anything that you guys have that need to be brought to the board's attention, send it into Jody, and she's the one that's going to go ahead and handle it from here, which will cut down my email box greatly.
So can I just say, in reference to the applications that we get for people that are looking for housing, may have not been on a more recent board, but it was discussed in previous years that that information would be shredded, and just the template letter would go to the agency that sent it in with the person's name. Only because they spend postage to send to us, which is a public agency, so it's public funds. And then we're gonna turn around and spend postage again of public funds to return it. And then they're probably not gonna use again what was sent here. So I would just make the suggestion that,
Well, how about if we put that on a next agenda item to talk about?
okay,
That would, I think that would work. I think that would be the easiest way to do that. I mean, I agree with you, but there's other things involved in it that I think we need to look at.
okay.
Okay. And it's really to benefit the client or the individual as opposed to, you know, but we'll talk about it. So I'm gonna put 2.2 on hold right now. Are we sure if Sheila's gonna be here or not? I did send her agenda. I did send her, I verified that it was gonna be today and the time.
I just sent her a text message.
Okay. All right, so we can put that on hold. Okay, work session 3.1, housing forum. So we have the date. The date is October 5th. The October 5th, and it's going to be what time now?
10 to 2.
10
At the
to
library,
2.
Great Hall.
At the library.
Yeah.
So everyone mark that on their calendars,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a real participation effort.
Right. We also have, Lindsay had put a link on the town webpage right in the front. So if you click on that in the very, very front, it'll say the housing forum, the flyer will pop right up, right from the very front page. And that'll give you all the information on what we're looking for. I know that it's very difficult to voice your opinion to a lot of town matters. When it comes to housing, especially affordable housing or any housing at all, this is part of what the Housing Authority does, and we'd really like your input. The input that we are going to be generating from this, part of it goes to the Townsend Master Plan, and it goes on to the master plan. All of this information then is compiled so that anytime that we have grant opportunities that we want to apply to, this information is used for that. I know that for several, we have a DLTA grant that we're using to be able to put this forum on. That grant was used because of the information that we used in 2015, was it? When the last forum was? Housing production plan?
2014.
14, so, you know, it's very, very important. So again, it's gonna be at the library on October 5th, between 10 and 2, 10 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. There will be food provided as well and light refreshments.
Are we gonna put a little more information on here?
Mhm.
It does say that it was posted on September 4th, in the AM, and it says public forum.
There's supposed to be a link to the flyer. Is there no link to the flyer? Jody, we can talk about that. We'll put a link to the flyer that
I mean, it looks good on the first page,
Mhm.
and you click on it, and there isn't.
Yeah, there should be a
Maybe
link
this
to
is.
the. There
Oh,
it is.
there it is.
There it is.
Ta-da.
Okay, so, yeah, you have to, you saw what I did.
Yeah.
It doesn't like come up right away.
Yeah.
Um,
I can actually talk to you, Jody, and we'll just take that first screen right out, so when you click on it, it'll pop right to the flyer instead. Okay.
It's also not showing on the calendar, which might be nice.
Yeah, that's another thing that, if you saw some of the documentation for how to post it, Jody and I were talking about this too. It's like in a weird language, all right? You have to jump here and click here and jump there and stand up and turn around and sit back down, and it's
Hope it
kind of.
goes up.
I have tried to sift through to get something to populate onto that common calendar. I couldn't
Maybe you
figure
could
it
put it
out,
on there.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I know the town clerks usually put the agendas on there, but I can try. Boston already got me access to that page, so I can try and do that tomorrow.
Yeah. There's a way that when we put something in here and we have a date for it, that you can, there's a checkbox that says add it to the master calendar, and I could never find it. Actually, my patience ran out before I got to that part, so I was like not looking for a little checkbox. 3.1.1, the donation letter, Natalie.
You said legal, the letter.
Well, what was our comments on that, on the letter? We had talked about it, we had some ethical concerns about what the,
Just that if it's coming from the town, we're not really supposed to solicit donations.
Right.
So it's just I mean, if you went to Bailey's or wherever and asked, that's one thing, but I can't really, even though it's, for a good cause, I just can't.
We can't
do-
send something out like
Nothing
that.
out.
So I can just go and see Pam.
Yeah,
Oh, sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
anything else.
So, do we need to make a vote on that, make it formal, for her to do it, or? do we
I can just do it.
Yeah, I think we can just do it. I mean, we had, like, when we had the forum, when we were talking about veterans
Right.
housing at the
Yeah.
library.
Mhm.
I just went, asked her,
Yeah, we
she
got
said, yeah.
flowers or we got
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Okay.
Some refreshments.
Okay.
I don't think, in 2014, when we did it here at Town Hall, it was actually MRPC that provided the refreshments. And this time they kind of cut back and they weren't gonna do that, so we wanted to get more of the nitty-gritty work done from them as far as the analysis and getting it compiled into the housing plan, which Karen did most of, for 14. That's why it's a really good template, and it's just parts of the template has to be filled in by MRPC because they have all the data, and then everything from the forum then gets put into a synopsis of what the town is looking for. And we have to vote on whatever comes out of that, how we present that in the
The
housing plan.
report, yeah, in the formal report itself.
And I was looking at the calendar for October, and they have Good Morning Yoga on every Saturday. So they must be posting something, or somebody's posting.
No, when we post something in the Townsend, in the Housing Authority, there's a place that you have to click that says to put it on this. I just don't know where it is.
'Cause that's what happened when I did that.
Right, no, I'm saying when we actually post it.
Oh, I see.
When we're posting it to the Townsend
site.
Yeah, anything we do
Oh,
on
there
this.
must be another little click. There must
Oh,
be
it's
another
much
little
more than
box.
that, Lori. I wish it was that easy.
It's just
I
not
can't
another
lie,
box.
it's not that
Okay.
easy.
Like, take me to all these places.
Yeah, no, it doesn't do that.
Yes.
No, you have to put on a different hat and special glasses and all that kind of stuff. I wish it was that easy. 3.1.2 is the flyer for the water bill. Lindsay and I had talked over getting this flyer to be put in the water bill,
Oh.
to mail it out for people. What came back kind of surprised me, because apparently an outside company does the water bills, they do the compiling and all of that kind of stuff. And I thought because it was the town, something from the town, that we'd be able to put something in there.
That they've changed that then?
It's humongously changed to the point of, it was like $1,200 for us to put it in the water bill.
So when conservation put a water bill,
Yeah.
oh, conservation put it in the tax bill from the town.
Right, which would have been different.
The tax bill is different than the water bill.
The demands. I think the tax budget does demands, not the actual bills. That's, I think, done outside as well.
The demands, not the tax bill?
Yeah, when they, at the end of the year, when they send out, because I've helped them stuff the envelopes, but when the tax bills go out, I don't see anybody in that office stuffing envelopes. That would be very time consuming for 3 people.
Yeah.
Well, they used to.
I think it's do a lot of different things.
Well, when we chatted about it, Jody and I talked about it as well on Tuesday, and the price was, there was a per piece cost and there was a postage cost. And the postage cost was the same as if we mailed it out ourselves in bulk mail. So it was a very hefty fee, which, I mean, yes, we got a budget, but we would blow our budget on one mailing,
Yeah. Is there, can we get the flyers printed up at town hall?
I don't see why not.
And then we can put them around. I mean, I can put some in my office. There's, one can be put on the bulletin board downstairs, down at Hannaford.
Senior center, the senior center library.
Library.
Yep.
So I mean, there's
Recreation.
some places we can put them
Mhm.
that won't be too much.
Yeah, I agree, and I also thought that between you and I, we could post on social media as well,
Oh, yeah.
like we've done in the past.
That's easier than this.
Yeah. Oh, it's much easier than this. But if we wanted to go the route of doing some kind of mailer, I personally feel that we would just do, like we talked about, a card. A mailer card would be cheaper, but
You sent it to us, so like if I wanted to print it off,
yeah,
I could print it off?
yeah, that would be under our last agenda. I posted it, or I included it there, and if you don't have it, let me know, and you have it, right, Jody?
Well, I can get it off the website, but I'm sure I can get it from Lindsay.
Yeah. And I don't mind doing flyers, I love doing those. Those are creative.
I know you do a good job.
I can always help with graphics too.
Yeah, I know, I know.
I can't, but I know my
This
limits.
is, Lori's really good at, can you make that happen for me?
That's my creative.
It looks good, move this over a little bit
Yeah.
more, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
You always need more eyes looking at something.
Yeah. 3.1.3, MRPC contact and scope. This is for just the housing forum now. I got like I said, John Hume had sent me an email asking when we wanted to, when he could come to a meeting or whatever. So I want to find out from you guys, how do you want to handle this? Do we want to set a special meeting? Do we want to appoint somebody to talk it all over? How do you want to do it?
I thought when we got what he was gonna do, for this, because there were some trade-offs,
Mhm.
the food being one of them, us
Mhm.
getting the room being another one.
Mhm.
That he was gonna come up with the questions. And I would like to see him come up with the questions, like within the next week, have it sent to the board, and we may come up with some more questions.
Okay.
And I think because he's gonna be looking at it at a regional, you know, with his hat on. And we're gonna be looking at it knowing the town better.
Okay.
So I think the two together will come up with a really good list.
Okay, so do you want me then to contact him and say that if you could come up with some of the questions and submit it to us, and then we can discuss it?
Right.
Okay, I can do that. The nitty gritties of it, you're taking care of most of the nitty gritties of all of that, right?
Mhm.
So I think I'll copy you on that email as
Okay.
well, so that you know what's going on.
All right.
As far as the hall and the what we need to bring, and what they need to bring, and all of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Usually he'll have somebody else. I know he's having Sean help him, but I don't know if he's appointed anybody else to help out with it. But I'd like to get as much of this ahead of time.
Yep.
So we don't do last minute, because
Right.
we don't like last minute.
No.
Right?
Right.
The.
And they supposedly have summer help.
Mhm.
They have students now working on all this with them.
Yep.
Or they did with
Yep.
September.
Yeah,
They
they're
were-
all gone now.
Yeah. But I'm looking at, Natalie, I'm looking more like, they need to bring easels, they need to bring, I'm sure that, if they have a PowerPoint presentation that they need, we're gonna have to have AV equipment, or,
They have it there.
I understand that, but you
Yeah.
have to have that all, we have to let them know
Okay.
ahead of time.
I'll go by there
Yeah.
tomorrow.
A pointer, we're gonna have to have, whatever they decide to do, we're gonna have to have things on the table, we're gonna have to have writing implements, didn't we have markers and all of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, because you had one person, didn't they have like easels at each
Easels,
table?
yes.
And,
The
the
markers, one
markers
person
was writing.
Yeah,
And then there was paper and pens or pencils on the table.
right, so we need to have all of that straightened out,
Okay.
okay?
Senior center.
I
Please and
can
thank
bring
you.
you pens.
Okay.
I can bring you pens.
I bet you they'll have something to say on the pens, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go ahead and I'll fire off that letter. Lori, I'll of course keep you on copy of all of that, so that you know what's going on. And you as well.
Okay.
3.2 feasibility study for Dudley Road. Jody, I'm gonna need your help on this one too, so if I'm speaking out of line, please let me know, okay? It was, Lindsay and I had been talking in regards to, the feasibility study. It's being looked at right now as maybe we should be going through our article, the article coming up in the next town meeting first, before we do any digging holes and all of that kind of stuff on the land. So we're gonna have to get that done first, I guess. We have to get the land court decision, the extrapolation done first before.
The extrapolation.
Right, so.
At least in the works,
Yeah,
and then plan for,
feasibility next, in the
Year.
spring, yeah.
Yeah.
So we all in agreement with that?
because we have the money in this year's budget
Correct.
for the feasibility study. So we probably would have been further along if we didn't lose our place, but in that process, because.
If that
If we
article
can
was
get it on a
voted on,
six
we would have been
months.
able to do the feasibility study right now.
Mhm.
If we
Yeah.
had that
Or for sure by the fall, because I don't think it would take, it's 4 to 6 months.
So you're saying we have the money in the budget this year, does it roll over if we did not use it?
It's until July of next year.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's a.
So we can still use it.
Yeah, that's why it has to.
We have to get that
Yeah,
done.
because by the spring of next year, we should have, if it doesn't get held on here
Yeah.
for some reason in town hall, but we should have, a status report.
Yeah, there's no reason you couldn't encumber it if you're in the middle of it,
Yeah.
to roll it over into the next fiscal year.
Yeah. If we needed to.
Yeah,
we
that
have
has a
If we-
specific purpose for that money.
Yeah.
Lindsay said
Maybe-
before we can move forward with the feasibility study, I think we should first go through the land court motions. We cannot have test holes dug in the property until we know we can use the land. Once we have established such, the THA will need to ask permission from the BOS to have the Title V tests conducted. I think that we should do these pieces before we spend the money on a feasibility study. We want to ensure that the property can be used for the development and have permission from the BOS to proceed with the testing.
And to you, that process that we went through about 10 years ago should be in the file, and you should be able to track it.
In the.
When we
file
took
cabinet?
out Townsend Woods.
Okay, right.
In other words, there has to be the article, well, we knew there was the article because we used it the first time, which didn't work when we used it, even though it was approved.
Okay.
But if you go from there to the date it went into court, how long did that take? When did they do the feasibility study for that one? There's a whole, process.
I have,
went
I
through.
have that all, Sheila, when we were looking at all that stuff, Sheila's office digitized it for me, we were talking about this
Okay,
too.
yeah.
I will send you that whole packet.
Oh, okay.
It's
perfect.
one PDF file, but it has 6,000 different documents in it,
Excellent.
but it has.
But it has the whole
has
process
the
of
whole
Townsend
thing,
Woods.
yeah. Yeah, the whole
That's
thing.
what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it leads right up, and that's where I got the article, because it made reference to the article, and then I had to dig back to find out where the article was, but it has from A to Z in that whole
Uh-huh.
package.
So that'll tell us a lot. If you could
Mhm.
maybe find that out for the next meeting of like what that was. Like it was approved this date, it went to the court this date, and when did we get the answer?
Okay.
And how long it took.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
How long did it take the last time?
So as far as that's concerned, that's all that we have right now. So Lindsay hasn't really gone forward with too much on the feasibility study because we do need to get the land court decision kind of worked in. And then we got information 3.2.1 for thesis students from Courtney.
Yeah, and in light of what we just talked about, I actually think that might help us.
Yep.
Um,
I think so too. That's
Yeah.
why I wanted to.
Yeah, so I talked to several people in different places. And the big thing with thesis is that thesis is starting right now, right? Which was the original issue. And thesis is made up of the first semester being primarily research and writing.
Mm-hmm.
And that person kind of dreaming up what their problem is that they're going to answer. Which meant that we wouldn't have known if anyone was going to be doing a thesis on housing until theoretically at the end of this semester.
Mhm.
So the reason why this helps us is because now we have the opportunity to go and talk to those people, find out who is on a path to doing housing,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can suggest that they look at our site. So I think it's really,
Yeah,
the schedule changes, is really good. My nervousness about it is to rely, I think we can't rely solely on thesis students. I think we can get some really great ideas out of them, and especially out of the box thinking.
Mhm.
What they don't know, and that's my concern, is only that they are pushed to dream big and possibly to the point of things that are not actually feasible.
Mhm.
And that's my only worry, is that we could get all the way to the end of the spring and they may not have anything that's even buildable, possible. So,
Well, is there any, once we find out who might be doing this,
yeah,
wouldn't part of what they would be dreaming up or coming up with be part of a discussion with the board from time to time?
It could be, but we have to keep in context that this is their school is their primary concern.
Yeah.
That's my worry, is only that for them, their primary concern is not going to be getting us
A buildable
project.
Yeah.
So I think they absolutely will give us some great ideas, but I think it makes sense to kind of do a parallel path with it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what
yeah.
I thought when I read your email, is that, we would be able to, I would say that if we had a company that would be willing to work with the student as well, that,
Right.
they could work together.
Right.
I love the fact of using a student
Mhm.
for something like this.
Right. We just want to make sure that student either gets grounded at
Mhm.
times, or
Mhm.
if they're not going to, and they may not,
Mhm.
that we have an option that is actually possible that we can present, and
Right.
that's my worry. So,
Right.
I am going back to in mid-October. I'm heading over to Wentworth for a 10-year master's reunion.
Mhm.
And at the time, I'll get to talk to a lot of the thesis professors, so I might be able to get a kind of mid-checkpoint of who might be in that path at Wentworth at least. So,
That would work.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
excellent. I agree with you that having something like that definitely has to be checked,
yeah.
but I think just the more people that we engage in this project, I
Yeah.
think the better.
Yeah, and on the kind of out-of-the-box housing ideas, I'd love to take on some research on that and see what I can bring you guys back kind of separately of projects that have been done, and kind of we look at it that way as well, so that when we're ready to do feasibility, that we have some thoughts that we might be able to share with people.
Good. I think that's.
So to that, just made me think about the questions for the forum.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we ask the town what they think?
Why can't we?
Some of the questions should be about affordable housing.
Right. So when we
And
have
what
the
they'd like
forum,
to
when we
see.
have the people there,
Yeah,
we can, because that's kind of sort of what we did
Yeah.
last time.
definitely.
What do you want to see for
Yeah.
affordable housing? What do you want to see for senior housing? Is there any other types of housing that you want? All of those kinds of questions.
I think a thing that might be good too is a project goals thing. So if we ended up building this, what would you really want to see? So we'd want to make a sense of community within this project, right? Things like kind of some high level project goals might be really helpful for us too, to kind of give in that feasibility study, so that people are thinking about what does the town really want from this
Do you
project.
want recreational type stuff or?
Yeah. What kind of, do you want to be able to see some type of gardening areas? Do you want to, what do people really want to see? And that way, those things might also be able to be incorporated in the feasibility study.
With that, the town properties committee, looking at the maps of what, once we narrow down what's usable, what's not usable, what would be good for a garden spot, what's good for the dog park, what's good, because all of this is, a lot of it right now is just wasteland.
Yeah.
But maybe it will have a use.
And incorporating as much as we can.
Yeah. Or
In-
even a
in touching
master
upon
plan
all
of the
of
site
the-
too, that we can't build, this part right now, but we have a plan for where it's gonna go, and hopefully we can fund that in the future.
Yeah.
Would also be helpful.
So are you suggesting that we do need to come up with some kind of, like a checklist on what we're looking for?
I think it'd be nice to have something that helps whoever's going to do this understand what our real goals are for the project. And I don't think I think what happens of October 5th can come from that. What happens over the next few months that we look at and we decide we really want to be able to have this as a high-level goal for this project, I think is really helpful for the feasibility study
Gotcha.
to understand what we're really looking for.
Right, because I would too, if we had an idea and when somebody is coming in for the feasibility, we're saying, these are the things that we're looking for, the components, good.
Yeah, I mean,
good.
there's so many units, but there's also these kind of things that sometimes are harder to quantify, but is a creative opportunity for someone to solve. And if we want a sense of community in that, and if we want an opportunity for children to be active and play, then then that we should say that too.
Yeah, I agree. I like her, let's keep her. So where do you wanna go? Let's put some action on that. How do you want to go about doing that? Do you wanna set up like you said mid-October you're gonna be talking with,
Yeah, I think it's the 18th. Yeah, so that's mid-October. I'm heading there. So hopefully I can get some kind of, like I said, preliminary read on if anybody's kind of heading that way in a thesis direction. I would say before that, whenever our next meeting is, I can try to start looking at some out-of-the-box housing ideas and see what we can find.
Okay.
And hopefully ones that are actually built, just so that we can understand if that they are out of the box and feasible.
Yep, I agree with you.
And see what I can bring to the table on that.
And I'll throw some of my ideas at you too that we partially discussed, but I'll throw out a checklist for you of what I'm kind of looking at too.
Yeah.
So if that's on the 19th, then we can put that on the next agenda in September. So we'll do
She's talking about October dates.
October, yeah.
yeah,
I'm
she's going to be meeting with them in October.
October, yeah.
And then we have October 5th.
November, I said September, but I meant November. I did. I really did.
Mm-hmm.
But should we meet after the 5th for a recap and discussion of what happened on the 5th? And then before October?
Yeah.
And then before, she goes?
Yes, I definitely want to do, yep. I want to meet in the beginning of October. Well, we're having...
Meet after the 5th.
After the 5th, right. So I'm thinking that following Thursday, the 10th.
Okay.
At 7 o'clock. And on the 10th, we can do a follow-up to the housing forum.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We can do we'll have a response from the town council too, so we can put that on there too, Jody. And
Is that regarding restructure?
yes, and the tenant position. We'll talk about that. And then Courtney, you're gonna see them on the 19th, so then what Courtney finds on the 19th we'll be able to discuss on the first meeting in November.
Yep.
Yeah, we good with that? Do you wanna set that date now? Now, the first Thursday is your MRPC meeting, right? No,
Of any month.
of any month, so it would have to be the 14th,
Of,
November.
oh wow, we're really out there,
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of fast.
yeah.
Okay. So the 14th, you got anything planned?
Other than Fox, I'm going to Mohegan.
So that would be a no.
No.
On that day?
Yeah, with the senior center.
Yeah, well, she
Oh.
can make it back in time with all her millions. Hey, then we'll have funding for our next project, right?
When do you get back? Is that a late day or?
Oh, we went
do they
to
leave?
Foxwoods today. We got back at like 5:35.
Yeah.
Oh.
We went to
okay.
Foxwoods today.
So we can do.
Mohegan should both. I'll be back by
Yeah.
4/7. If not, I'll send you a postcard.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so that works. So then in that, we'll talk about Courtney's findings from the 19th meeting for the thesis students. Okay, that works for me. We all set there? The next is 3.3 Affordable Housing Trust Fund. This is going to be hosted by the AIR Affordable Housing Committee. It's a Affordable Housing Trust Fund training. The topics are getting started, operations and legal considerations. This is what a municipal affordable housing trust fund is and what the statute allows, steps to setting up a housing trust, funding your housing trust, and legal considerations. These are all part of the direction in which we have been talking that we are thinking of going. This is I think this is a free one, isn't it? I can't remember, I don't
I
see
think
any.
you had to register to get a seat,
Yeah. RSVP.
Yeah,
but I
so,
don't see a cost associated.
It's meet and greet with refreshments.
yeah, I don't think it is.
It doesn't.
It doesn't have any money on it, so it's MHP, and MHP is something that, it's the housing thing that you and I have gone to no, I haven't gone to, I went with Karen. We used to go at Devon's every summer. But I know that I'm gonna definitely go. I've RSVP'd to Lindsay, and I said myself and a member. I didn't know if anybody else wanted to go, just send it to Lindsay.
Okay.
All right,
I think
and
Natalie already did.
Yeah, I already did.
you did? Okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm going as
All right,
well.
you're going to? Good,
Okay,
good,
great.
good. And this is gonna give us more information in regards to what we are talking about in regards to setting up a trust for this. Are you familiar with what this is, kind of, sort of? I can give you a flyby on it. In essence, we as a board do not own any property.
Yep,
The
I
only
remember you
way-
guys talking about that part.
Yeah, the only way we can afford property is if we have a trust set up. And the housing trust then funds other things like, we would not be able to do any Section 8 vouchers for anybody, excuse me, because there's no monies for that. There is no trust set up for that. This would be a part of that. And this will give us a better idea of what direction we want to go into.
Yeah.
All right, because ultimately what we're trying to do is, unlike our last two projects that we've done with senior housing, we had partnered with somebody and the partner now has basically taken care of all of that business.
Yeah.
The town is not getting any funding from it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we got it all set up, we did all that work, and then there's
Yeah.
really nothing to show
Yeah.
for outside of the housing. So what we're trying to do, which would be part of the scope for the students, is that we want to create some revenue for the municipality. So somehow, whether it be tax revenue or however we have it set up, that we will be getting something out of it, and the town then would be in control of it, meaning
Right.
managing it, making sure that things are done the way that they're supposed to, or that would be conducive to what the board wants, as opposed to, handing it off to somebody and letting them run it themselves. So, having said that, that's kind of, I felt it was very important that we attended that. Any other questions on that? That's Wednesday evening, September 18th, Air Town Hall from 5:30 until 8. You all set with that too?
Yeah.
That's right, we're going to go in that week. Okay, 3.4, response from town council. Lindsay and I had, we have been working on the outstanding tenant position and the reformation of the Townsend Housing Authority. I just want to be very clear, since we are on tape or on video, we're not looking to reform the Housing Authority for any other reason than to be able to retain funds and resources to the town. The way the Housing Authority right now is set up, it was done very loosely back in '84, was it? I forget exactly when it was. But now we have a formal budget. We have, we're setting in place or setting in motion the processes so that we will be really encouraging housing production, not only for affordability but for a lot of other avenues for housing in the town of Townsend. I personally am very excited to see how much we've moved ahead of where we were and where we are right now, and I want to be able to continue with that. With this, we need to make sure that we're following what we need to follow as far as town council is concerned. Item number 1 is the tenant position. Because we don't own any property, we do have an extra member on the board that we could utilize for help, because we can always use the help that we can. So we have been talking with town council, which I'm told is a relatively easier process to get that tenant position into a general member position. Having said that, if we do any reformation of the housing authority and maybe start developing and establishing a housing trust, we would then have to revisit that, and it would have to go back to the way it was in the
Yeah,
future.
because that position right now was the state mandated position.
Correct.
That used to be an elected position, but is not now. It's just an appointment of someone who resides in Townsend as a tenant.
Correct.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a tenant at Atwood or Townsend Woods, but any tenant
Of an affordable housing unit.
of an affordable housing unit.
Yep, it has to be affordable housing unit.
Huh, I wonder if there's anybody like that lives over at Turnpike Village.
Could be, if it's on the housing inventory. As long as it's on the
Turnpike Village is all affordable housing,
Yep,
so.
and that's all in the housing inventory, what I'm saying is, so yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even if it's on there and we don't own it right now,
Mhm.
can we get someone to fill it from those places currently without having to
We don't
do
own
anything?
Townsend Woods,
Yeah,
and
we don't own it.
Agreed.
So
I'm
that's
just-
why it's
And
like.
there's no way to get around if we went and, let's say, found someone from one of those places that did want to fill it now, even though we don't
We
own the
could-
property.
No, we could
Could
do
we?
it.
Yeah, we could do
We
it.
could do it, as long as they were in an affordable unit.
Right.
That's
But,
how it was filled before.
yeah, yeah. If we,
From there.
let's say, for argument's sake, we did manage one of those units over there,
Yeah,
then yes, we would have to have a member from
from there.
there.
Right.
on
I guess what
board.
I'm wondering is if we're going through restructuring and we're gonna have to have this position anyways, is it worth the time to take it out of it right now and then go right back to it?
This is why I'm
Or
throwing it out
would it
there.
make sense for us to let people in those developments know that we have a vacancy if they wanted to fill it,
Mhm.
I guess?
And the difficulty was how are we gonna let them know, because we've tried posting there and we're not allowed to post because we're not.
Our CAP is not very cooperative
Gotcha.
in this, so, however, Turnpike Village, I'll speak to the owner there. I know who owns it, so I'll see if they would be agreeable to, they don't really have like a posting board there. I noticed today they have like a little covered area, but that's kinda like where they stand in inclement weather when the
Yeah.
kids get picked up,
Yeah.
by the bus. I'll work on that and try to
Okay.
see if I have,
So,
get anywhere.
can I get, if you guys want me to take the outstanding tenant position off the town council, that actually will give us a little more time to talk about the reformation.
Mhm.
So I would assume, do I need a vote to stop that, or just?
No, I think it's a consensus
Mhm.
now that we're gonna try to find a tenant that's in one of the affordable housing properties in town.
You could do a posting at the senior center, right? I know
Yeah.
a lot of the
Mhm.
people hang
Yeah.
out there too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that doesn't have anything to do with our camp.
Can you prepare a posting?
Sure.
And send it to Karen
Sure.
to post? That would be great.
And could you also let Lindsay know that we also, I'll send out an email as well, so that we have a
Put it
date.
on the website too.
Yep, we can do that. We have a date, Lindsay and I have a date to see town council on the 26th, was it, Jody?
25th.
25th.
25th. So on the 25th, we'll just talk about the reformation, as opposed to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
And if you send that to me, I'll send it to the owner of Turnpike Village,
The posting.
the posting.
Okay.
Because it doesn't have to be a senior.
No, just
Yeah,
affordable, right?
just anybody in.
Right, anybody who's living in an affordable unit.
Mhm.
I mean, if there was any affordable units left at Coppersmith or Copper, whatever you call it there.
Yeah, Coppersmith.
Do we have a list of other places besides those ones that are just, like I said, at Coppersmith that we could?
I actually,
There's that Habitat House.
yeah, there is the Habitat House too. I asked, and this is part of the reason why I wanted to go to one of these, the thing that I talked about earlier with MHA. I had requested from DHCD if they could give me a formal listing of what we have on the housing inventory, because every time I ask for housing inventory, they give me a number, like 7.
Which
But they
ones?
don't give
They don't give me
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
So it's like, I requested it, and it's, you gotta do I forget how it was, and I get caught up in a bunch of other stuff, and I never followed up with that. But maybe it's something that you and I can talk about at some time. Remember I told you the state portion of it gets
Mhm.
kinda,
There aren't a lot of them.
yeah.
No, I know. I wonder if we have any, if Vicki has anything tagged in our Patriot.
Who
Mhm.
could you ask?
I could ask, yeah.
That would be great.
Cause I'd like to know which ones we have, what the, where they are, what the address is. Cause we have a Habitat for Humanity, we have some at, Coppersmith. We have
There might be one left there.
at Coppersmith, there's supposed to be another one
There were 3,
that needs to be,
and there's supposed to be a 4th built.
that's built right now, and I need information on that to get it to the inventory, to get that added to the inventory,
Oh.
to my knowledge.
Hmm.
I don't know if you would, no, I don't think you were here at the meeting with Kevin. Kevin gave me the information to the gentleman that I need to talk to,
Oh, good,
so.
good.
But I need to get the information from him so that I can send it to DHCD to get it on the inventory.
I forgot her name, the couple that bought the house, the Habitat House. The couple that ended up getting it, but Vicki will know. It's on, I think it's on Apple Drive. Vicki will know.
Okay.
Cause down the road, I'd like to be able to start seeing if we can get another Habitat home built. I don't even know what the process is for that.
It's easy enough to get the interest in it. It's, what piece of land are you gonna build it on?
Right.
And unless somebody wanted to donate one,
Mhm.
we tried to get one on Edward Road that was attached, it wasn't attached to anything. It was next to somebody that had a real issue with it. But there was somebody in town that was gonna donate a vacant lot on Edward Road,
Mhm.
and it didn't fly. It was while Kathy was here.
And if anybody's willing to donate land or have any money, do we have a budget and we have an account that we can add it to if we need
Yeah.
to? But we would be more than glad to take it. And who was that famous person that said if you don't ask for it, you won't get it? Well, we ask for it every week.
Yeah.
Um,
Now we don't need a videographer, do we? Or do we?
well, I don't know what Hartley's doing off in the, he's now the Oz guy, he's behind the curtain, so we don't know. But he is, if we need to talk to him, he's right here. All right, so the next thing is correspondence and clerk's announcements. These, help me with those. Are those things that I got to all of these from Jody.
Okay.
Those are those ones that come in those little blue envelopes.
This is the same thing,
Yeah.
and it is, the Massachusetts Association of Housing Authority Maintenance Supervisor.
Yeah.
This is not us.
I just grabbed whatever.
She just grabbed whatever's in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
So this is,
I've seen it before.
Right.
It's,
and I did too, and I just want another pair of eyes to
Yeah.
say that we don't.
that would be like, an RCAP.
Oh,
Okay, it's a management company that does maintenance on affordable housing.
okay,
If we had one of those units, we would need something like that.
right. I'll try to remember, no promises.
The next is a bulletin for the annual town meeting of May 7th. Article 25 and 37 have been approved by the Attorney General.
Yeah, that was, marijuana,
That was the
accessory?
accessory apartment.
Oh, whatever we voted in at our annual meeting, it was approved, it was sent to the Attorney General's office after it was voted by the town.
Correct. So
And
this
then
was
they
the
approved it.
bylaw for the reduction of plastic bags and the affordable housing, the accessory apartment. Those
Okay.
are the two. That's what it says.
Okay,
That was Article 37.
did they include straws?
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. And I know this is affordable housing because I saw that until I was cross-eyed. But that's been approved. And I don't think we need to post this on the website because it's already on there.
Yeah, I think the town clerk sent that out, right?
Yep. The next thing is, I'm gonna give this to Courtney. This letter is to confirm that at the joint meeting of the Board of Selectmen and the Townsend Housing Authority held on Tuesday, August 6th, 2019, the boards unanimously voted to appoint Courtney Borelli to fill the vacancy in the Townsend Housing Authority.
Ta-da.
Ta-da! So there you go. This is becoming my favorite part.
Zeros.
The end?
0.
Oh, your budget?
Yeah. Are we in agreement?
Oh, we're being physically responsible.
Yeah. How about that? So, I just need to know if we're in agreement, and I basically will sign this and give it
Whoa,
back to the town. Workers' Credit Union, we don't really need that.
That's where we have our bank account.
Mm.
That's like $25 and change.
Yeah, the $25.
$25
This is
account.
to get a business credit card.
No.
No.
Visa,
That can go in the
Visa
shower.
Platinum. So we're all in agreement on this?
Yeah.
No comments?
Mm-mm.
So $80 was the only thing we spent, right?
Mhm.
So those are yours, those budget statements, and normally I'll just keep the folder,
Okay,
so you can see when, it's usually monthly that the accountant gives them to us. So if anything goes weird, we'll have that file, just to keep track of.
okay. I'm good with that. I'll keep that with my keep stuff. This is a,
I'll drink some water. when I
yeah,
go.
really, it's a water challenge. 2-week self-directed program open to all employees, August 19th to September 1st. Water is critical to good health.
If
You
it's
take
working.
the challenge of drinking so much water during the
I
time.
guess.
If it's working. We had a thing Monday, we had no water.
Oh, I saw that too.
There was a water main
West.
break.
Yeah,
Water
by
main
the-
break on Monday, yep,
Mhm.
that was fun.
So I guess this is for FYI.
Put it on the mailbox.
Yeah, right. That's fine. These are the outside stuff, which we don't have any outside stuff to do right now, so
Mhm.
we have always gotten there, but that's basically all we have for correspondence. Meeting minutes. Where are we with the meeting minutes, so I can work with Jody to be able to figure out where we're all caught up except for the last meeting, I think, right? And the last meeting has not been posted on YouTube as of yet. So,
Was I at the last meeting?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you were.
Okay.
You did the minutes.
I did the minutes?
Yeah, you were doing the
You were
minutes.
typing away
Yeah.
during the.
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. That's why I'm like, oh, I don't have to worry about
Unless you
it.
have a doppelganger. Look just like you.
Doppelganger.
Um,
Yep, she did the minutes right there on TV.
did I do the agenda?
No, I did the agenda.
Well then,
I think you
I
took the.
can do them for you if you don't have them. I'll just annoy Hartley and possibly get it on YouTube and do it from there.
I have, page draft of minutes of July 16th.
No, these are August.
Oh, I can do it. It was recorded.
Oh no, forget it, that was 2018.
Yes, it was recorded, but it has not been posted on YouTube yet.
Okay.
I usually check with Hartley first,
Mhm.
asking him when to get posted, and then I'll always get actually you get it now because I noticed that you and I are now on the housing
Yeah.
thing. So Basim usually sends me an email saying I've posted it, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
So when you see that email, then it'll be up and ready to view. And then I usually send it out to you guys once I get that email, so that we're all on the same page. So I guess the last thing with Sheila, I totally bet that she's been very busy and is busy. Our next meeting that we decided on, I'll send out an email to Sheila and let her know that we would love to have her attend. Jody, did you also get an email from Senator Tran? Were you on copy of that email?
No, he just sent it up today.
Okay. I'm gonna dig through it and send it to you as well. He was introducing someone that is helping him with the housing portion for our area. And I can't remember the name of the woman off the top of my head, but I think it would be something that we could at least extend a,
Reach out to.
yeah. And I can't think of her name off. But if because she's in this particular area, it would be nice if we could make contact with her as well. And find out what she can do for us, what we can do for her, and see if we can have a partnership involved in it. And the very last thing is that I should have done this on my state representative report, but I'll say it now because I just remembered it. I have been working in regards to the affordable housing, or the accessory apartment was, the bylaw was accepted by the town. that the planning board did. And there are two other pieces to it. One piece goes to the zoning, the other piece goes to us, that we need to look for enforcement. If we could put on our next agenda for the, to talk about the accessory apartment enforcement. Because I'd like to talk to you guys about what our role is in that, how, you know, how we're. I'll say that, I'll be entertain a motion to adjourn.
I can't wait for that to be on YouTube so I can see how long it's taking a minute.
You volunteered and everything.
She said, I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'll
you
do it right
did.
here, and you whipped open your thing
Yeah,
and you
boom,
started
she started,
typing.
just having a senior moment.
So why, if I was doing it, why would I not have?
Did you pull up, did you
Like,
type it in my
read
agenda?
it.
Did you go to look at the agenda for that day?
That's
Or for that
probably-
night?
Well, probably, but did you send me one in Word?
Yes.
How often do you type things? Because you can go to Open Recents, you might be able to find it
Oh,
that
no,
way.
I've been there.
Yeah,
What was the date?
August
Eight,
something,
I think.
August 8th, day after my birthday.
Yes, August 8th.
I don't have anything in August from you.
Typed in level.
And it's August today. And September 2nd. And September 2nd. August 26th. Is that one we?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. It was August
no,
8th,
that was-
7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm,
August 8th at 7 o'clock.
mm-hmm.
So, Natalie, can you interface with Jody? And if you can research when the last meetings that we voted on, or the minutes that we voted on the last time,
Okay,
and then find out what's outstanding, and then
all
we
right.
can go from there, please
Okay.
and thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so who's gonna make the motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is made and seconded.
Seconded.
Any discussion? No.
All in favor, aye.
All in favor, aye.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Oh, next date.
And
10:10.
again, we still are looking for a videographer, any student that you may know of that is in telecommunications or is interested in helping us out here. Have them fill out a volunteer form and get in touch either at housing@townsend.ma.us or they can call the number that's on the website in regards to the Townsend Housing Authority and we can give you more information. Thank you very much.